One of the biggest challenges for staff in after-school programs is disruptions. Children who are tired, hungry, or frustrated from the school day are going to be disruptive after school because they need something: connection, empathy, an opportunity to rest, or have something to eat. Similarly, children with autism may struggle with not fitting into their norms or expected behavior in their after-school program, or they may be disruptive because they have unmet needs for connection or expressing their frustration. Hello, I'm Carson.
And I'm Melissa. Today we want to focus on strategies for meeting the needs of all the children in your program, including the needs of children with autism.
You may have some children who are often disruptive, but it may not be misbehavior. Today, we're focusing on children with autism because they often struggle to fit into their expectations of their after-school program.
What is autism? It seems like every kid I've ever met with autism was unique. What do they all have in common?
You're right, Alyssa. Autism is a developmental disorder that varies a lot from one individual to the next. Children and adults with autism may have differences in how they interact socially, how they communicate, or in their fine and large motor skills.
I've heard autism is called a spectrum disorder. It is that because it can be so different from one person to the next.
And people can be a little autistic or very autistic. That means they are at different points on the autism spectrum. For some people, it has a big impact on how they learn and interact with others, and not so much for others. You are more likely to have children who are in the middle or high end of the autism spectrum.
So it is okay to expect each child with autism to be a little different and try to learn about what they enjoy and want to do in our program?
That is a great approach. It also helps to know a little bit about autism so you know what to expect and different strategies you can try.
All right, let's share what we've learned by researching autism. Some children with autism can be aggressive. They might bite or hit when they're stressed, or their senses are overloaded. Our program can be stressful with loud sounds. So I'm going to think about where we can have a quiet space that any of the kids can use when they need a break.
Children with autism can have poor understanding of social cues, so I need to be attentive to how they are interacting to be sure they are not being aggressive or bullied by others. If we have a child in our program who reacts unexpectedly with sudden movements or unexpected sounds, it may help to educate all the kids about autism and how to react to unexpected behavior.
That makes sense. I also learned that most people with autism have some level of difficulty with motor skills. I may need to adapt activities that require cutting, coloring, or gluing. Physical skills like running, hitting a target, or dodging a ball might be hard for them. When I know what is challenging for children, I work with them. I can adapt activities so they don't feel excluded.
Knowing how to make changes that avoid problems is important. It's also important to have strategies to rely on when unexpected problems occur. Meltdowns are definitely a problem in after school. By the time they get to our program, all the kids have had a long day, and sometimes a stressful day. They may be hungry or tired. That is why we have a snack at the beginning of the program.
I learned that children with autism like having predictable routines. That makes it extra important to give them and their family advance warning of changes in our routine. Preparing autistic children for changes in routine is another way to avoid meltdowns.
And when meltdowns do occur, it is important to stay calm and relaxed. If you can, move the rest of the group away and give the child who is struggling time and space to calm down.
Another behavior that others sometimes find confusing is self-stimulation or stims. Some children with autism like moving their hands, rocking, humming, or pacing to calm themselves. Usually, you can accommodate stims, but be prepared to ask for help with behavior that is dangerous or disruptive. Reach out to the students' regular teachers and ask how the behavior is managed during the school day.
It helps me to remember that most disruptive behavior from children with autism is not because they are trying to misbehave. It is because they are trying to communicate that they are stressed. That helps me stay calm and react appropriately.
You are good at being calm and patient.
Thanks. I know that being in an after-school program helps children develop their skills in managing their emotions and getting along with others, which is why it's important to include all children.
I agree when children are struggling with sensory overload, being frustrated or teased in our program, we can focus on helping them develop the skills to cope, calm, and manage their emotions.
Let's summarize some concrete strategies that will help us create a safe and inclusive after-school program.
I think the first strategy should be to establish a daily and weekly routine in our program. All the staff and participants will benefit from having a clear structure, routine, and expectations. You may need to spend extra time helping children with autism understand your expectations and rules. Being consistent in your expectations will help.
That is good. Using visual cues like charts on the wall or lines on the floor will make it easier for children with autism to understand and follow the routine. You can reinforce your routine by using the same space every day for activities like snacks or quiet time.
We've talked about how each child with autism will be different. As a team, we should consider whether we should change some of our routines to better accommodate children with autism. Can we make a space less overwhelming?
When we are leading activities, we need to give instruction with just 1 or 2 steps at a time. This will help younger students and students with autism follow along. Sometimes we'll need to make adaptations to specific activities or games to be more inclusive of everyone.
The best way to know how to meet the needs of individuals in a program is to talk with a child's classroom teacher, special education teacher, parents, and caregivers. They can help us understand each child's unique needs.
Another strategy that will work well for some children with autism is to have sensory-friendly toys that can relieve stress. Soft stuffed animals, bubbles, clay, or other squishy items can help children relax and make it easier for them to engage with their peers.
Children with autism will be more successful in non-competitive games and may enjoy using individual equipment such as Legos, train tracks, scooters, or jungle gyms more than playing group games like basketball.
My big takeaway from learning more about autism is it can be a real joy to have children with autism in my program. It'll be fun to get to know them and their unique passions or talents. I look forward to helping all the children in my program feel valued and connected with others.
This reminds me of when we talked about the intellectual, social, and emotional benefits that can come from having mixed age groups in your after-school program. Really seeing and including children with autism has the same benefits of helping all the children in your program learn to manage their emotions, to work with others, and to be accepting of differences.
It is about an assets-based approach and remembering that each child's unique strengths and differences are thought of as resources that can be called upon to meet learning and program goals.
Carson, how are we going to put these ideas into action?
We're going to give everyone time to talk with their team about how this applies to their program. In 2020, the Center for Disease Control estimated that 1 in 36 children in the U.S. have autism spectrum disorder. So almost any after-school program is likely to include children with autism or with some other unique needs. Then, we're going to use an easy process to apply that you're learning to make your program stronger. The process is plan the change. First, you will plan the change. Talk with your whole team about the unique needs of the children in your program. Share the specific challenges you worry about them, whether they are related to autism or not. Then, with a partner, go through the 4 steps to plan the change you want to make. Pause the video now and do these 2 steps. Come back when you are ready for the next 2 steps.
Good job. I bet that took some time, but you have a plan. Some ideas that you can put into action now. The next step is easy. It is to do the change. With your supervisor's approval, implement your planned changes for 2 or 3 weeks. Take notes about what works and what doesn't work. Then, come back together as a whole team to check on your changes. Talk together about what worked and what didn't work. Did you adjust your expectations? Did you make changes to your routines? Are you being flexible? More prepared?
Are you and the children in your program happy with the changes? As a team, decide together what changes you will keep. In this step, you may learn new ideas from others or work together to refine some of the changes.
Then, the last step is to sustain these changes that are working. How will you build these changes into day-to-day? This is a strategy your team can use to address other issues as well. The steps were: Step 1 is develop awareness of your problem. You learn more about autism and strategies that may help children with autism. You realize some of these strategies may help all the children in your program. Step 2 is to plan the change. You brainstorm together and then plan with a partner what you wanted to do differently. Step 3 is to do the change. You implemented your ideas for a few weeks. and notice what was working and what was not working. Step 4 is to check the change. As a team, you discussed what was working, you learned from each other and decided how to sustain what works. Step 5 is to sustain the change. Not all the ideas you try are going to work. You want to sustain the changes that make things better. As a team, you decided what changes to sustain. This process takes a few weeks to implement, but is flexible and can be used to strengthen your program. Remember, the goal is to provide a safe, fun environment where children can build positive relationships, learn, and grow.